Up until recently, there's been no requirement for recreational or hobbyist drone pilots who solely wish to fly their drones for fun to take any type of knowledge test to be able to fly in the national airspace. According to the FAA's website, there are now over 870,000 drones registered in the United States, with over half of those drones being registered for recreational use. With all of these drones now sharing the same airspace as manned aircraft, the FAA has released a mandatory knowledge test that all recreational pilots must pass. The test is called TRUST, the Recreational UAS Safety Test. This test provides essential information that all drone pilots must know to safely and legally operate within the national airspace system. This test not only applies to drone pilots, but also to model aircraft flyers as well. Though the TRUST test is fairly basic in comparison to what Part 107 pilots must know, some of the items that recreational pilots will learn about and be tested on in the TRUST test include aircraft registration, pre-flight inspections, TFRs, airspace classifications, and how to get airspace authorizations in order to legally fly in controlled airspace, among many others. So who should take the TRUST test? The FAA says that anyone who operates their drone for fun or personal enjoyment purposes only. So even if you already have your Part 107 certificate, you should still take the TRUST test if you plan on flying your drone for recreational purposes or just for fun. The TRUST test can be taken online through one of the FAA's approved test administrators, which are listed on the FAA's website. I have provided a link to the FAA TRUST website below for easy access to all of the administrators that are available. There is no charge to take the test, and depending on your level of knowledge, the test could take anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes to complete, I'd say on average. So unlike Part 107 pilots who must take recurrent training every 2 years in order to stay current, the TRUST test is only required once. Once you pass it, you do not have to take the test again. The caveat to this is that once passed, you must print out the certificate showing that you have passed the TRUST test. This is the only documentation that you have showing that you have completed the required training and that you are now legal. Neither the test administrator nor the FAA will maintain personally identifiable information about the recreational flyer, so it is not possible to reprint or reissue your original certificate. Why is this important? Well, the FAA or law enforcement can now ask a recreational pilot to provide documentation showing that they have taken and passed the TRUST test and that they are legal to fly as a recreational pilot. The certificate that you receive after passing the TRUST test is the only documentation that you are going to receive showing that you have taken and passed the test. So when does this all go into effect? Well, it's actually been in effect since June of 2021. So if you're a recreational pilot who has not yet completed the TRUST test, you should do so before your next flight in order to be legal, as flying without the certificate of completion could get you into trouble. I know people may think, well, what are the odds of that? How are they going to catch me? How are they going to know where I'm flying? Well, one thing to think about is if there were an accident with your drone or you're caught flying somewhere where you shouldn't be, especially if it's specifically mentioned on the TRUST test, there could be greater consequences for your actions when it is found that you hadn't taken the mandatory training required by the FAA to fly recreationally. I know the odds may be slim, but when you consider how easy the FAA has made it to complete the required testing, there shouldn't be any excuses not to take it. Just so there's no confusion, and as mentioned earlier, passing the TRUST test does not allow you to fly for commercial purposes. It is strictly for recreational pilots wishing to fly their drones for fun. If you want to be able to fly for commercial purposes, i.e. make money, you would need to pass the Part 107 knowledge exam. This test covers topics similar to what is on the TRUST test, but in much more detail and in greater depth. It is similar to what a private pilot knowledge exam would look like. I've tried to keep this video short and to the point. I hope it's been helpful or informative in some way. If so, please give it a like. That would be greatly appreciated. What are your thoughts on the TRUST test? Is it good? Is it bad? What do you think? Leave your comments and or questions below, and you'll see me in the next video.